Tryon, joined by Bracken Crocker and Jack Bauer. Friendly reminder, we have a new show. It's the Hyrox Show, Race Brain Hyrox, hosted by Matt Mason. That will be out on Thursday. First interview he's got going up, Debo. It's going to be one.
I almost wish they wouldn't let ever interview him. Just keep him a myth.
It's like Cody Moat. Just
like
no one knows
Candyman or Bloody Mary or something. You just don't want to summon this man. You're not sure what he's even going to look like. But if he shows up, like
say Debo 3 times.
Oh,
and he's going to
he's going to pop out of Heat 2 and snatch your podium.
Exactly. Marcus Wallace will be on the Race Brain Hyrox Show dropping on Thursday. Make sure you're subscribing to it comes directly into your feed. Today, we're going to be talking about the first major over there in Amsterdam for Hyrox. We're going to touch on one of the Spartan Race World Championships that happened, the sprint, long sprint, the swim, Hyrox,
swim run,
Spartan Race.
Hey, I told you
swimming
sprint was going to matter.
And Jack screwed me hard on
Matt screwed you hard. We'll get to that
fantasy stuff. Did you run the results?
I can do that. We can go through it.
Rich, I'm going to give you the COVID phrase. Do your research. Do your own research.
Yeah,
that's true. But I won't.
The science.
No, because then I can't blame Jack.
I'm on Bracken's side on
all
this.
of my
you should know it's hard to get a pizza if you're from Russia.
Ivermectin.
Jack's like, we just keep it going. All of none of the players that you drafted are going to show up, but it still counts.
Hey, if we made it 10 rounds, you would have had extra people. But
I was already guessing.
Your fill-ins delivered though.
A couple of them did deliver.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that, and USAOCR also had an event. We'll touch on that briefly, but let's start with Hyrox in Amsterdam. Matt and I, we did kind of recap the full race shortly thereafter. That's available in your podcast feed and on YouTube as well. So if you want to get a little bit more in the nitty gritty of what happened into the race, check that out over here. But we're going to talk a little bit about the bigger picture here and just kind of what we foresee, some of the controversies. We don't want to start with that.
I guess we're going to start with day of or what's happened since, because there's a lot of both stories.
Let's start with day of. We don't need to go directly down that path. I guess, BK, what was your main takeaway? I know you had a busy weekend, but what was your main takeaway here, not including the times or the course for Hyrox Amsterdam 24?
The really good people are still really good.
Seems to be the case.
The next wave's coming, but the really good people are still really good.
Any real surprises at the top here? Doesn't really seem to be, right? We can say Rylan for sure.
I would say, like 3 through 7 wasn't what we really thought. I mean, we have Rylan. We knew he could, but could he? We have Bo. I think you took a shot at Bo being drafted where he was drafted.
Yep. I was like, he's not going to be there in the beginning, but at the end, and then he just unbroken wall balls probably really fast. Skimpers across that line, 6th place.
Joanna is her.
The real deal.
Still good people are really, really, really good, but the next wave that we thought might be really good are really good as well.
Jack, what's some of your takeaways? Also, get that microphone closer to your face.
It's closer. There we go. That better?
Thank you.
Sultry.
All right. I messed up. I think that it was good to see, and I'm going to use the word fresh faces. Even though Rylan, we've seen him before, like he came back, he's had his setbacks, and seeing Joanna be the real deal and have a new name on the list, like without Linda Meyer, with Vivian having a bad race, with Viola not showing up, Michaela, she's like that 3rd spot on the podium at Worlds on the women's side is going to be insane. And on the men's side, in a relatively open race without Michael Sambach, without Hunter McIntyre, no Pelayo, you had several top names not race the solo race this weekend. It's gonna be such an exciting season, and I think it was really smart of Rylan to punch his ticket right now, because now he's got his whole season planned ahead if he wants to do it.
It was good thinking, I don't know why I didn't think of that. Just run 55 mid. That's smart work. Isn't there, Jack?
Yeah, good strategy.
Good thinking.
Well, was it 55 mid, or what about all this controversy? Yeah,
not yet.
Yeah,
not yet. So
Face value race.
let's do a little exercise here from this race. What we saw, whose stock went up in terms of, like, if there's gambling odds on who is going to qualify for Worlds. Let's go ahead and kind of look at these and see whose odds went up and whose might have gone down. So this doesn't actually have the. So
Well, while you search, I'm going to answer the question you didn't ask.
Nice.
Whose odds went up for a podium or a world title? Joanna and JK moved from they've done it, can they keep doing it, to they might not even be near their ceiling yet.
I mean, JK was on the podium last year.
Right, but we've seen that before. We've seen people make a podium, make a hot run, and not come back. He's picked up right where he left off. There's no drop off with him, and she has improved. Because doing it, what you've done on the grid with monsters around you, is an improvement. Repeating that is getting better. That's not stagnation.
Regardless of courses, James Kelly has gone sub 57 5 times, like 4 of them in 2024. He's arrived. We already saw the World Championship result. He was with Alex for what, 3/4 of this race. Why couldn't he win?
Basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, because he came into wall balls and they showed some, like, they did a little spin view, and I was like, wait, he's there already? It looked
he was
like
catching him.
Yeah, it looked
he was catching
like
him on the wall
Alex
balls.
it looked like Alex had created a gap, but then out of nowhere, James in frame, and I'm like, oh wow, if Alex, gets a few no reps and JK does it unbroken, he might have this thing.
JK is ascended again, right? This is like his second ascension.
Yeah.
Him getting third at Worlds was a bit of a surprise, considering how the season went outside of just that last chance qualifier. But for him to go blow for blow with the defending world champion is extremely impressive. It's just something that we don't see that often, right? The people who have been able to race Ronco like that, it's Ryan Kent. Rylan went toe to toe with him last year, but it's Hunter McIntyre's and Michael Sandbach. They were in the similar position, right? Like, yeah, if JK runs this race at Worlds, coming in wall balls with them, yeah, he's in the mix. He could win.
Yeah. We've said it before on here, but when you pop something like he did at the end of the year, and then popped again, and then nailed that podium, that either becomes the pinnacle or your new baseline. And it's really hard to tell which one it's going to be. But as of right now, that's just his baseline now. That's what he does week in and week out.
What do you guys think of his strategy? Because it's very visually obvious when he comes into a transition zone and gets out of it. He is hammering on that. And he gets back up to speed faster than pretty much anybody I've ever seen. It's a very unique, like, interval style or a fartlek almost.
Hard way to do it. But yeah, he surges in and out of the rock zone.
Yep.
Like you
unlike
said, visually
anyone
you
I've
can
ever
see
seen.
it.
We talk
I don't
about
think anyone's ever done it.
Yeah, we talk about fast transitions in OCR. Like, VJ was fantastic at it, and several others. But this is even more intentional than, like, the best in OCR that I.
This is the Mexican style of OCR.
Get to the sled push, rest 2 minutes,
sprint out,
and sprint out of there.
I mean, it worked for Eugenio a couple weeks ago.
Now, he also has that style of run stride visually. It looks hyper aggressive. He's not tall, so he's high cadence. He's forward lean. He just has that stride that he looks like he's running faster than the people next to him. And then that is combined with actually running faster in and out than the people next to him. And it looks crazy, those two combined.
He must have run so much faster. I'm gonna try to pull this up really quick, but how much faster he did run than Ronco, who isn't slow, but his run time had to have been much, much faster.
Well, the last time we saw Ronk at a big race, he and Sandy were outrunning Hunter,
right?
Who doesn't really get outrun, especially on the second half.
And Hunter was in run shape also at that race.
So it's just what JK has done, going from a fringe guy to a top, what would you say, at worst, top 3 in the world right now?
He is a very heavy podium favorite.
I'd put him 2 if there was
Yeah.
well, there
Power
are power
rankings,
rankings. I
2.
got to do the power rankings. I would put him at 2.
I did it
Yeah.
already. I put him at 2.
I did it
Just-
before this race when it was actually due. I got to redo it now.
I talked with Matt. He said he can wait. So yeah.
So yeah, Ronco's time was run time was 31:48, and Alex JK was 30:45, so a minute faster. And you could tell.
30:45 for 8.7. That's got to be one of the faster.
No, that's without the rock zone.
That's
fairly
7+
Oh,
seconds
really?
per K.
I'm on the
Rocks has to be in it because it's grid.
Yeah. I mean, they're not running 31. They're not running 6:10 pace. Like that was not.
Why not?
Look, it didn't look it. I don't know.
Like with all the turns and everything, I think we blow up how fast people are actually running, but with starting and stopping and everything. Let me see what it says on.
You might be right.
I don't know what's it called. Yeah, like we've done this for years with OCR. These guys are running 520s. No, they're not. They're running 550s. They're running 550s.
Oh, Bracken was.
BK was.
They're whatever. That's not the point of this.
Yeah.
I don't know. These results are all a mess. I'm looking at
Yes, they
high
are.
results for that. So I don't know. I know the rock zone was
the bottom line is he was a minute faster than.
He's a minute
Alex.
faster in some sort of run metric.
On foot.
He was running really fast.
On foot, yes. No bikes allowed.
No bikes.
I think we're overlooking. I know we're hyping up James Kelly, who got second in this race, but Alex is going to be tough to beat again this year.
He's got that dog in him.
He just delivers, and you could tell. When was it? After lunges, when he was kind of like acknowledging the crowd a little bit, it was like it's over at this point. I know James threw in a surge at the end, but I think after winning that world title last year, no more second places. Hunter he's got his work cut out. I don't know if he can do it.
There are a couple type of closers in this world. JK's one of them, where if there's someone to catch, he is going to bear down and he's going to empty himself. And then there's the type that smiles into it. And Ronk smiles into it. As the race gets to the point where you shouldn't be able to smile and have fun out there, he's kind of relishing that situation. And that's really hard to deal with as a competitor.
Agreed.
Hunter wins with bravado, right? Alec might just depress you with how it doesn't seem to be affecting him the way it should be.
This I'm with Jack. I think here, this is the first time that I haven't just thought that Hunter was going to be able to win if he decided to win.
If this is his season, like I don't think he necessarily will. I would have Alex as greater than 50% odds.
Like, I think it's matched. Yeah, I agree, Jack, completely. It's like, if Hunter's right, whatever, if he's committed,
even if he nails his cycle,
right, he's like the GOAT. But at Hunter's best, like, Alex might be better.
This is really strange because we've gone in a relatively short time frame from this sport was like preternaturally designed for Hunter McIntyre. There just is no one that can match his metrics on a thing like this to there's people doing it better. Now, the worrisome thing for me is we keep saying the word if, and in the past it was a compliment to Hunter. Like if he even cares at all, he's going to win this.
Right.
But now he's surrounded by guys who are monsters who there is no if.
You think James Kelly's going 95% in? No, he's all in. Yeah.
So now Hunter is, if he goes all in, he might have his hands full this year. And there's an if in that statement. No one else has an if in their statement anymore. And once you've been, your chin's been tested, does it ever fully come back? I don't know.
Does Hunter have that, like, once Mike Tyson finally got knocked out, it's like, oh, he is beatable. And then he lost again. Like, we've seen him lose twice at world championships. I don't think that people have that as much fear as they used to. Like, obviously, on his best day, Hunter easily could win another world title. He's won several in Hyrox. He's the GOAT of
greatest
Hyrox.
of all time.
But right now, what I'm looking at, you've got two guys who are head and shoulders above the rest of the men's field. You've got Rylan rounding into health. Who knows what a few of the people who weren't there can do. Who have beat him in the past. It's like
back around, right?
It's not a gimme anymore.
No. And he could come back and go 51 and win. And
I know
we're all like, oh, okay, we were wrong. It's not. But The problem with one path to victory, one clear path to victory, is that as soon as it's not there anymore, what happens next? Like his was crush everyone behind, get to burpee broad jumps, and the race is over. Whereas the other guys all had to learn how to win multiple styles, and he still hasn't won other than his one way.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when, again, it's an if. We don't know. I'm not saying he's not going to win, because we said he's the greatest, but he has to come up with a new path to win where they don't.
He's not going to get away. Other people can do 141s on the ski and come out and run and still push the sled. He's not going to be able to get away anymore.
He now has to pack race.
How would he have done if he was in this race?
Like if he was fit?
Current fitness. If he decided not to run doubles this past weekend.
Current fitness?
Fitness.
I don't know. Third.
You think he beats Ryland?
Yeah. You don't?
I would have put him fourth. I think Ryland might have got him. But
I think we're swinging too far in the other direction already.
That's like, what are we talking about, dude? Like Ryland's wall balls were almost 5 minutes. Like you want to tell me
yeah, he did get like 15 no reps. Yeah, right.
Hunter cracks and goes nearly unbroken.
If you're looking at like the race splits, like of this course that was like legitimately fast. 2 minutes fast, like actually 2 minutes fast, and actually 36 seconds fast, and then they corrected it. But outside of that, still incredibly fast. But you don't do a 5-minute wall ball and beat Hunter McIntyre. Sorry.
Fair enough. Yeah. Do you want to go into that? Or actually, let's talk about a couple more of the women's surprises because we haven't really done that before we go into the course time.
The real surprise hasn't
been
his name spoken yet.
Let's talk about the ladies. What's the real surprise?
Top of the leaderboard is obviously pretty Lauren and Meg are just on a different level. I was super impressed with Joanna, obviously, but Kate Davey, I think, has the potential to really make some noise at majors and world championships later this year.
I mean, what she did, how impressive she was here. She's very impressive at the world championships also.
Because she just found herself in podium spot just kind of unexpectedly. She's like, what am I doing here?
I get just the elephant in the room here is when the sleds are moving like half weight. Does that have an impact on the results of the race? I would say yes. So I think it's really hard to project what these results mean in terms of like long term and without a couple of the bigger competitors in this race.
But there were a couple smaller athletes who you'd think would have had a better time. Like Dylan, for instance, he is a smaller athlete, lighter sleds, and he didn't have a good race. I know international travel. Like
I don't think that's the case for I don't.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
but it like you can't just be like, oh, lighter sleds is why she did well.
Yeah.
But
it's not like it's not like if the sleds are a minute heavier, heavier.
Are you saying they were lighter?
A minute. I think they were probably easier than typical.
Easier? Were they shorter or were they lighter? Or both?
I bet they were the same weight as always.
Yeah, lighter meaning they move faster.
The correct distance,
not weight on them or anything.
But the way that they moved was faster. Like no way around it. They just moved faster.
So I think her player comp is she is on 9-month tape delay to JK. That's what's happening.
9-month tape delay.
Yeah, she is that fringe elite 15, elite 10, elite 8, whatever you want to call it. Has a race where she breaks through and has this world championship where it's like, okay, I think I can do this. And then comes out in the very next race and is better than we saw and might now just be that person. She frame wise, race style wise, ascension, she's JK to me.
So if we go back to James Kelly, what was his initial world championship? He kind of was at the venue and he just got in, right? Was that?
Yep. And then finished 8th.
So basically you allow people outside of the Elite 15 to go in and fast forward a year or two and look what they can be. This process is preventing a bunch of people like that. I think you might have 1 or 2 more people end up being able to do that within the field, but you just need your opportunity. But I agree. I think Kate can absolutely make the most of something like this.
Yeah, it's great to see how well she did here. I can't tell where the running splits were, but her sled push is 219, her sled pull is 312, which is fast. But her burpee, she got herself back into the race in the burpees, right? And that's one thing that when you read the comments about how like the burpees and the lunges were short, it's like, oh, that's not fair to the athletes who are good at burpees. So like maybe she makes up even a little bit more time.
She made up time on a short burpee.
Right.
That speaks to how fast she was moving.
She was cruising. She came out of there, I think, in third. I was like, whoa. But I think she walked in maybe fifth or sixth.
Yeah.
There are stations you can like fake it or just say, I'm going to hammer it and recover. Burpees aren't really that thing. Like that's fitness.
It's like a double sandbag. It's like you need to be intentional and know what you're doing on that thing or you're screwed.
And that's also definitely like she could have got a little bit more time, but I don't think anyone's upset, even if you're good at burpees, about short burpees. I don't think anyone's like, "Man, we just like a little bit more of these. Ideal for me."
Then I didn't have to find out if I went too hot and cracked the last 20 meters. It's all we're okay.
I'm fine with it. I think most people are going to be fine with a short burpee. I know I sure would. But yeah, she came into burpees in sixth. Yep, and came out in third. And then
it's moving.
Yeah, it was really strong. And then Joanna had tough sleds.
Yep.
She came out of burpees in seventh. She went in fifth. She had tough burpees. She didn't have a great sled pull. She's just raw. You watch her and like nothing is. Her movements look different than everyone else's. She's still just learning how to do it all.
Getting her Hyrox legs.
Those are the technique-based stations where sequential movements, tenths, add up when you're doing like 40 reps of something and 80 reps of something. Those things add up to positions.
And she's tall, so burpees might not ever be something that she's going to excel at. But like her sled pull, the form was just like inefficient. Just watching it. But for her to battle back, she runs well. She sure runs well, and finish strong. So yeah, she's going to be a real issue. Like you add Viola and Linda into this mix, and then that depth from 3 to 6.
What I was saying, you don't know who it's going to be.
I think that Kate Davies ascended into that level.
She's in the conversation.
I think Griffith could be right around
Griffith,
there.
If she just slows down,
she needs to slow down, dude.
That's all that she needs to do. Try to close for one race, and I know she's going to have more legs.
It's a great exercise. I think that everyone should at some point in the season decide that I'm going to be like the 8th person out of the sled, or your local race.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm just gonna. We had this kid who was a state champ in cross country, and at his local home meet was on our course, and he'd always decide he was going to be like bottom half through the 400, and then he would just walk by everyone. He'd get to the mile in the top 20, and then he'd negative cut down, and it just seemed to work for his season progression. And I think all these people need to do that one time a year, and just feel what the other side can feel like.
Right. It's like I get you want to be top 3, but like. You can get top 3 without being in first for a little bit.
Joanna just did.
Right. Bo.
Yeah.
Exactly. Bow a race and then decide here's one on the spectrum, here's the other. I didn't realize I had multiple gears and strategies here. Even if you never use it again, you just at least have confidence that if you ever get gapped or whatever, I don't have to thrash myself to never lose contact.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you need to give up your strategy altogether forever, but like it would just be good to see the other side.
But yeah, she will absolutely be in the mix for that 3rd position. Jess Petro had an absolute breakout race. Like she could be in that conversation as well. Zara continues to get better and better. Camilla,
I was impressed with Zara.
Is still in there. Yeah, no, Zara was great. She worked her way up toward the back quite a bit.
But the 2 most impressive women on the day, we've barely even talked about them. Lauren and Meg, what they did.
Talk about them all the time.
Ridiculous. I know.
Rich is sick of Meg. Their business relationship is souring. He's tired of her being in Colorado.
So that
overshadowing him.
When Lauren finished the race, she was 57:30 something or whatever
on the clock.
And on the clock, they adjusted it and they readjusted it.
Yeah.
And they readjusted it. And then so she finishes in 58:12, which is not the world record, just shy of it. And then Meg was 58:44, which is still a PR on her end. But Lauren, she's running like JK. They share similar training methodology, and now race strategies seem to be aligned as well, where it's hammer out of there and hammer back in BK. What was on them feet?
Now, I did not get to watch the race. I was only watching updates and messages because I was in the sticks.
You didn't hear what was on her feet? Wearing Bracken.
Oh no, I did saw it. She had the Rebellion Pros because she's
Rebellion
a
Pros.
genius and
She
a
knows
boss.
the deal.
That's
She
right.
knows the deal. She got the best ones on, and she was popping off the ground. She was flying. She was absolutely flying.
Secret's going to be out, but there's not many sizes left.
The update, just upper, is what the rumor is. Just upper.
I'm going to have them cancel it. We've got our spares. No one else gets them.
No one else should have these. I'm surprised they're not changing the bottom. How weird they are. Why would anybody want that? I'm surprised they're going to keep making this shoe. They can't
the
do well
Mizuno
on
CEO
scale.
is just a Hyrox stand. That's all it is.
But Lauren was incredibly impressive. Just her running. I think she was like 90 seconds faster than Meg, which is crazy. Meg did a great job on the stations and keeping poised. But Lauren was just hammering those runs, man.
It looked like Meg was gaining like 3 to 5 seconds on a lot of the stations. Like they were pretty equal on the row from what I remember. I think Meg gained a few seconds on the farmer's carry, but Lauren was, there were a couple laps where you could see one of them in the same view, like going around a corner, and then Lauren would finish and it would be like, where is Meg? Like she just gapped 10 seconds on that 1,000-meter right there.
She looked like a person who went from Endorphin Pros to Rebellion Pros. That's how
That's
they feel.
true. That's true.
I'm not saying they're 10 seconds per K faster, but they feel 10 seconds per K faster.
I think that's all it boils down to.
I don't even have an affiliate code here.
No. BK will send out, shoot BK a note. He'll send you the discount codes to these websites you never even heard of, getting cheap shoes. He's got that
like
RSS
Cheeseburger
feed.
Eddie.
What was the shoe that the marathon world record was set in Chicago this weekend?
Alpha 3.
Alpha 3. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. First time anyone's had success in it. Or Kiptum did it in the 3, right?
The 3?
F3.
Oh. Okay. Well,
I mean,
thinking,
regardless,
no one ever did anything in the 2.
Yeah. The 3 is they still have the pod connected, right? It's not decoupled, or it is?
No, it's back to one, not back. It's the one firm foam block through, but there is still the pod.
What was the difference between 2 and 3?
2 was one, but worse and heavier.
Right. They made the platform a little wider. Huh. These 3s. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this course.
Can I preface this, Rich?
Go on.
I have notes here.
Oh, notes.
What?
Whoa.
I didn't take
All
notes,
right,
but I have something prepared for this.
Okay.
Let's clear out.
I do too.
BK's at the top
6
of the key.
days ago, there is a
Clear out.
comment left on our YouTube video.
Okay.
Stop complaining. Now, I want to say 2 things. The first is that we've been going for 37 minutes and all we've been doing is handing people flowers because there is a clear delineation for us. We love, support, and lift up the athletes, and we will call out the industry when they do not do right by the athletes. And we are in a sport, both OCR and hybrid, that seems hell-bent on making the wrong decisions. And so we're going to keep complaining, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to keep complaining. We're not going anywhere because we are for the people, by the people. And all you guys do is complain. We're just doing it for you. So that's it. The second thing is, this is why we complain. We're going to complain until this stops happening. We're going to beat this drum to death until we don't have to anymore. Because I don't want to say I told you so, but like, how many times do we have to expose the flaws in the system before they say this is a dumb system? Let's not do this anymore.
And
End of rant.
How many times, like we started this year where we were like, you know what? Hyrox actually did a good thing with having these 2 times as a qualifier. Like we've complimented when we think that they've made a step in the right direction, but there are still a lot of cracks in the foundation, and
it might be worse.
Till those get fixed,
It's worse.
It might be worse. It might be worse. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, this is just, I feel validated. I've been screaming about this for like 3 years now. And it's just like, oh, wow, this is messed up. It's actually messed up. The courses are literally short. And that's something that we've talked about sometimes, that it's like, oh, haha, this one's just actually short. But no, like these courses might actually be short sometimes. like the runs might be screwed up. The zones might be screwed up. Who's got quality control on this? Who's holding them accountable? Fucking nobody.
What do we know with shoplifters and embezzlers and tax frauds? And that is, no one gets caught their first time. right? Odds are this is not the first short course. This is if they manage to mismeasure things at a major, do we really think they went 100% the rest of the time up until now? Like we know it's bad. We're not happy to be proved right. We just want it to be fixed.
That was something that Debo did say in a chat. He was like, they couldn't get 20 meters correct. What makes you think they're going to get 8.7 kilometers correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
This
weaving
makes
in and out of
Hyrox-
things.
I mean, this makes CrossFit look pretty darn accurate.
Why?
Oh, I don't know about that, Bracken. You take that back with their 5K.
They had 5,000 meters to fully measure. We had 12.5. Like, we had 20. We're not working with big numbers here.
Yeah.
What? Why do you think they admitted this? They could have easily just
Someone
been like,
knows.
keep this
I
quiet.
think somebody
was going to come out with it.
They'd rather be the ones to break the news versus, seeing all the negative comments.
This is we honorably take full responsibility of the thing we are about to be exposed about.
And
That's what this is.
I respect that.
I respect it too, that they came out and did this.
Yeah.
And they're still like, whoops. Oh, well.
All right.
So just to recap, if you did miss this, they created a post on Instagram with some adjusted rankings. It said the grid was measured 18 meters instead of the required 20 meters. So the results of burpees and lunges being shorter than the required distances. So they made some time adjustments. They did 36 seconds for males, 44 seconds for females. Let's just start here. My first question with this: if they find out something like this, is this an appropriate way to remedy it, or is there other things that should take precedent here? Like, what's the best solution?
Normally, I would say, hey, you guys screwed up, but because time goes into who gets to race these majors, I think that this is a fair reason. It's universal. Like you said, Kate Davey flying on the burpees, she's going to get the same exact time penalty as someone who was slower. So I think that that's a little, injustice right there. But at the same time, if you're going to be doing a time-based thing, like for qualification, this adding a uniform time across the board, I think is a pretty reasonable compromise.
It's reasonable, but it's wrong. But first of all, I do want to say that this puts to bed any argument we ever get from the other side, which is, listen, it's in the rule book. This is what we have to follow, or it's not in the rule book. We can't do anything about it. Like, this is not in the rule book, and they applied something. So now we can use logic. Reason must prevail.
They've opened the door. They've opened the door.
Yep.
But the great thing about Hyrox is it's sterile. So and I'm not a math guy, but I'm fairly certain we can just do 18 over 20 is equal to our given over X. And we can cross multiply and divide and get the exact adjustment for every single athlete because of the timing mats.
You mean the rate that they were going? That's
This took you 2 minutes, and it was 10% short. So we're adding 10% time across the board. That's the correct adjustment, but I'm not mad with the adjustment. It's not fair, or it's fair, but it's not accurate. I don't know which way you want to put it. It's fine.
It's still arbitrary. It's arbitrary.
It's arbitrary.
Yeah.
It doesn't really affect things, but it could. So just take the percentage. I'm doing with Jack. Percentage of winner. Let's do it.
Percent of winner. There we go. And Dave Claxton messaged me, by the way. There was a race in Canada where they used percent of winner this past weekend. So
everybody was like, I have no idea.
They're like, this is the greatest thing ever. Yeah.
No idea how I got here.
Yeah. But honestly, I think what they should have done is been like, hey, the course is short. We're going to allow people who finished in the top 3 to get your mark, but we're just not counting this time. Like this time is not valid. It can't count towards your 2 times going forward.
I agree. I mean, I clearly agree.
I agree, but it punishes athletes, which is what we're not against.
But
it punishes innocent athletes.
Every single athlete who ran fast here now has this for 360 plus more days counting towards their 2 best time. Like this is ridiculous.
Paid their way there. If Hyrox had brought them in, invalidate it. They were still in that amateur pro status where someone put like $3,000 into this thing and now would have to do it again. They might not even be able to afford to. I'm on the athlete side.
If you look at it in terms of the athletes, though, this is more unfair to the athletes who did not race this race.
If you are
than it would be
16th or better, Like
no, 16th to
or worse,
300.
worse. Sorry, yeah, 16
You know,
plus.
there's way more athletes than to be unfair to the 12 athletes where the times still matter. There are 50 athletes that were not in this race that it is not fair to. And now we're not even just talking about like what else was wrong. These sleds were crazy. This course should be decertified.
It
right?
should
It
be.
not count.
However, we've had crazy sleds, maybe not quite this crazy, and we've never done anything about it. And there are people from 16 to 300 who have benefited from that. If they identified a very clear error and they remedy it accurately and say, you were moving at this rate, we're adding this much time, how was 16 to 300 disserviced? Just on these measurements, just on the measurement. We're not talking sled.
But that's a problem with it being arbitrary, right? Like, who's to say? Who's to say that the 36 seconds is what's fair and that's going to keep the person in 16th or below out because they just randomly made up some number that they're like, okay, yeah, we kind of did this, whatever. Like, it's adjusted, it's fine. And what about all the energy that those 20 meters didn't account for later? Like, this is just something that you can't measure this. You're just making up a number. So,
but it doesn't count.
But it also operates under the assumption that 16 through 30, their courses, their grid courses, and most of those 16 through 30 are grid courses, many of them.
Most of them are like Cologne.
Well, it's under the assumption that those courses were above board, and this was the screwball course. This is just the one we know was a screwball course. So I don't know how. I guess the answer is there is no appropriate fix because either side of the coin is getting screwed.
The bigger issue is why are they allowing grid versus non-grid times to count in the same, why are those lumped together?
They're not literally different.
We have reached to the point where hopefully this is just the point where they've jumped the shark and we can finally just have them say, all right, we get it. It's finishing position and that's it. Let's get rid of time. Like this, could this be the nail in the coffin? Because we're coming up with convoluted fixes to the real issue, which just is let's not go based on time. Let's just do, these are your 5 slots. You must finish in a top 5 and then you're through. And if you're not, you're not, or make it point based, but time's dumb for the sport. So maybe instead of trying to fix time with guess time adjustments, we say it doesn't matter if it was short because all you had to do was finish top 5. You raced who was there today. And then everything's all fair and equal.
You guys ready for a graph?
You got a graph?
Oh, I have a graph. I'm gonna share.
Is there any chance though we see them get rid of time because they're tired of embarrassing debacles
this season? Probably not.
For next year.
Yeah.
Is there a chance?
I think there's a chance.
No. We've already seen them. They're like, here's this season's rules. We're sticking with it. It happened in the first major of the year, but they're not changing it. They're gonna wait until season 8.
But like BK said, this is not in the rules what they just did.
Nope.
They amended something on the fly, which they've never done before.
Yep.
And we also saw them add time to someone's in a different race, the same venue. Dude named Sean Noble was given a penalty after he finished the race, which is something I don't think.
Right?
Yeah, the next day, and it was lengthy.
Day later.
I think he's like a multiple offender on this type of stuff. Yeah, I guess, but like
that's as good of an owning as we've ever seen. He said, I apologize for my obvious attempt to cut time by circumventing rules.
Dude, he was just doing the walking of the walking lunge.
We've done it. You shuffled, I threw it over one shoulder.
We've all done this.
Come on. It's a rite of passage.
So they are kind of bending on what they had stood so strong on with the rules being the rules, which is probably a mistake on their end, but
that actually
opens the door.
Rules. They claim 72 hours, I believe, 48 hours.
Oh, is that
whatever.
true? Is that true? Yeah. All right, Jack, give us a graph.
All right. Ready? You guys see this?
Yeah, let me add it to the stage. Then I got to zoom in because I can't see nothing. Is this Jack's butt?
Not yet. Already did that, though. We'll get to those numbers. So this right here shows the highlighted orange, yellow dots are their times in Amsterdam this past weekend. And here's
is Is that glow dot? Is that like a plug-in feature that you bought, or is that something that you can
No,
just
this
do?
you just click on one and you're like, oh, I want this specific one. You go to the
I was
the
just getting
shape
this.
Oh my
effects
god,
flow, whatever. Yeah,
I
yeah.
just fell
All
asleep.
right, all right, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Anyway,
My bad. That's on me. That's on me.
someone is gonna care. But
That's on
anyway,
me.
the
I'm going to
important
ask you
thing.
about it offline though.
Yeah, sure. All right. Bottom line, here's like each vertical row. This is every single time that Alex has run, every single time that James has run, etc. So the bottom line is, look at all of these times, except for a couple people who cracked. They're like PR, second fastest, and then on the women's side, same deal. Like almost every single athlete just ran so much faster than
Toward the
typical.
bottom, yeah.
There's absolutely no denying that this course was fast. And this is after they added those 36 and 44-second time
Oh,
adjustments.
this is
Right.
post?
This is post.
Right.
Like
But
how
you
Hurts
can,
gotta-
my
how
first
can you
argument.
even how
Darn
can
You
you
got a
even
90-second
ignore
sled.
that?
Like when you push a sled as fast as someone does for doubles, something is awry.
Yeah.
Something is not right. So whatever.
Yeah.
I would rather them be short on burpees and lunges than to have 90 seconds. I think Joffrey Voisin pulled 225 or something like that. It was for a sled pull.
I don't know if I could do that fresh as a time trial.
I could not.
You'd have to be going hand over hand almost.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, no, I definitely.
Maybe with like the open weight. All right, so let's do
Maybe,
one other
yeah.
look. So if we're looking at PRs, surprisingly on the men's side, Amsterdam, Alex was the only one who set a lifetime and a fawn. But there were a lot of other ones that were within, a few seconds, their second best time or whatever. On the women's side, you had Meg, Joanna, Kate Davey, Jess Petro, Zara, Yana and Alina, all so 7 PRs during this one race. Either everyone's just crazy fit at the same time, or something's wrong with the course.
And Joffrey was 243. Sorry, not 220.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's very telling. And that's the thing. Like when people were coming across from like in the bottom third of the race, or like coming through 9th, 10th, 11th, and their times were the fastest times that we've seen
Ever
in the world. It's like maybe, but not really. Like that doesn't really happen.
There are occasionally you'll see at the Olympics like an 800 where every single person sets a best at that position within a, like everyone just went for it. And
In a draft-based race.
In a 2-minute race.
But
Correct.
in a 1 hour, you're running, you have ebbs and flows because some people exceed a certain
Getting
or excel at. Yeah.
Getting dropped, going backwards.
Doesn't happen in this world.
So, however, this still shows how early we are in the growth cycle of this sport. Add whatever time you think you need to add to this. We have elite where every person is cracking and running under 59, essentially, right? 60 minutes. We have women who are running, call it a 104 for 2nd through 5th place. That's still so advanced for this sport. It shows how much the sport's going to grow this year. So I agree, this is an anomaly. This was like, I want to avoid being negative because we just said, we even have comments saying stop complaining, but this is an anomaly course. It is, but it still shows how good people are and how this sport, we had the question last time, will there be world records? Yeah. There's going to be world records again this year.
No, they were
that
close.
wasn't
real close.
If they didn't do it on this, if they didn't do it on this course,
first race of the year,
they keep giving them those. If it happens, it would be in Scotland because Europe gets that goofy farmers carry. I would put money that we won't get that in Vegas.
Vegas is a big venue, though.
It's not about this venue size; it's about who's designing the courses.
That's true.
And like the ops team here just was like 20 times back and forth. Seems to be
last time we were in Vegas, they took plates off. So I don't have any expectations.
That was like a 6-minute rock zone. That was insane.
that was ridiculous.
What else? Oh yeah, because I was looking at just BK on your point there, like Vivian, who is like coming off an injury, like not doing. She just didn't have a good race, right? She was 65-40, which is like the world record was like 63 2 years ago, right? Like not far off of something like that. Like, yeah, how many people were under Alina was 63-23 in 9th. And that would have been the world record 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So something's going on there.
So one other thing, I put the numbers in Jack's butt. Bauer's updated top times. How fast were the courses for each gender?
What's our metric? What is our guessing metric? Just the time? How much time?
Percent fast.
Percent.
Yeah.
This one feels to me like,
and I'll give you minutes and seconds after, just across the board, kind of like
we can't. We got to do percent first. We can't do time first.
Okay.
Time?
Well, if it's blank time fast for Meg, it's going to be even longer for the other. That's why I was doing percent. But
you and your percent.
I'm gonna say 4.4% fast.
6.8.
After
course.
the time adjustment, 2.6.
Same men.
For that was for the women. No,
for women 2.5.
It was 2.6 for the
It's
women.
the same course, right? So you can't really have women versus
unless it was measured funky.
Yeah,
it was a different plate.
Yeah. Wall ball weight.
And I got 1.7% for the men after the time adjustments. So that basically what would
it's 90 seconds.
Yeah, so Lauren ran a 58.12 but adjusted 59.43. So about a minute and a half for the top women.
That seems right. Like I'm looking at this and it's like because Meg at World Championships was 59.59, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like is Meg in a minute and a half better shape? Like, no. She's just not.
That was World Championship
training to be 90 seconds faster than Worlds right now.
Yeah. No.
Oh, again, what that says is if you cracked and ran 65 and you really cracked and ran just a hair under 67, that's not what we saw cracking time out to last year. That still shows how much improved the fields are.
What was like say Afan, what was his adjusted time? He was 57.12 with adjusted time. So if you put it in Jack's butt, when it comes out of Jack's butt,
58.11.
58.11.
So a minute.
About a minute at a time.
He was moving well.
And Rich doesn't want to accept that.
That's fine. I mean, like when you get to push the sled under 2 minutes and you're like one of the smaller dudes out there, like it helps your time.
The combined 7 minute, which moved down towards 6 when it's now 5.5.
Well, Joffrey, like I said, he was 4:48 or something like that total.
Cume. That used to be a
sled pull.
That was one single
competitive pull.
This is skipping a station. When you get sleds like this, you skip a station.
And the fatigue associated with that harder station.
So age group does not care about time.
No.
Other than world records. Right? So it's not even like we're reinventing the wheel. We can just do that for pro. There are X qualifying spots and we keep track of the world best.
Yeah.
They don't have to rework the system. They just adopt one they have in place. And now we have parity amongst the pros and the peons.
Yeah. So basically, Alex, he went 54.07. I think it was worth a 55.03. So about a minute on the men's
Great
side.
Opener.
A minute.
I think
minute 30 on the women's. So do those seem in your mind after the plus 36-second adjustment and that like that's what I came up with, and I think it checks the box. Alex 55 flat at a major.
Yeah,
that he wants to win all year.
That's what Kent and Ryland were in Chicago.
Yeah,
for the opener. Right.
Yeah. You know who feels the best out of all of this, and it's not who you're thinking? Balin Bean.
Balin Bean.
What?
Not who I was expecting.
No, this is
we're talking about his performance in Seattle in perspective.
Oh, to beat Ryland, you're saying?
To crush Ryland.
Balin would destroy Hyrox.
I'm just saying that if this is the
Brendan Neely too,
capacity we're dealing with.
No, seriously. Yeah.
My goodness, Balin.
85%.
I mean, Hawk Call it was pretty much the only guy to beat him this whole season, so we know he's there.
Anything else we need to touch on when it comes to Hyrox here?
I mean, what about the draft? We could talk about the stupid.
I have one question first.
Yeah.
Can Joanna pick off one of the top two queens at Worlds?
Definitively no.
Not yet.
Definitively no. With this is her debut major. She doesn't have a chance to lurk within 30 to 40 seconds at Worlds. And if someone has a wheel start to wobble, she is definitively not able to snipe them.
Yes. Give me whatever odds you want. I will not. I would not.
Bracken's
that,
definitely
unless there's like an
she's a
injury.
raw. Bracken's definitely like, oh, she's a raw athlete. She's gonna be able to, gain a minute, while a lot of other athletes aren't gonna be able to do that this year. And maybe if they're both going for the win, one of them will crack. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
I'm thinking that, did any of us have JK Snipe and Hunter on our bingo card last year?
I had him second heading into Worlds. I picked Hunter second, but James, I thought that he could have done it.
Did we have Sandy front running into wall ball? I mean,
yeah.
There's many is she the next closest right now?
Like, just based off of,
is she number 3 in the world?
Like, space for,
yeah.
It's hard to say. We didn't see her against Linda. Linda's been very good. Viola's been very aggressive. I felt like Vivian was not in form. If these sleds were heavy, were what they have been in the past, she does not get third in this race.
Maybe not. Probably
the way
not.
That,
however,
the way that she came out, like, so if we get sleds like Nice at any other major, like,
let's just remember, what place did Lauren Weeks enter wall balls at
like
Worlds?
7th.
Okay, so is it absolutely impossible that one of those two does not take top 2 this year?
I mean, it's possible. The odds would say that is certainly the case, but
well,
I would not bet
on it.
I would not bet
through Vegas right now at good odds.
It would have to be an injury. If they both step on the line healthy,
we're going to pull up the tape, Bracken.
No shot.
So anyway, draft update. Rich ended up taking the win.
And my first male was Dylan. He went out there, performed like me. Just taking that freaking dump.
You be nice to Dylan. That's a little low blow there.
Yeah.
That's a little hard.
Dylan stunk as bad as I can stink in these races. But I've never taken last. So Dylan beat me in fantasy football. So I'm hitting him.
He did.
I'm giving him jabs out here.
What's the background behind your team name? I've never got it. I forgot to ask you.
Trias?
Yeah.
That's every year my name is something that Riker can't pronounce. There's like a student in his class that that's what he said, where it was clearly not that. So yeah.
Right.
This is an Indian student, and it says his name Trias.
Yeah. So
gotcha. Okay.
My names are Riker's speech impediments.
I like it. All right. So anyway, Rich barely not edging, but
how is Riker educating the youth?
What was it?
Well, how is our system broken to the point where Nick Riker? He's not just a teacher. He's not a gym teacher. He's teaching subject matter.
Last year he said it was a sub or something, and he was he was doing like a spelling test, and the word was inquisitive, and he said it so wrong that every student got that word wrong on the spelling test.
You said it so wrong they thought it was a different word.
They're like, I've never heard this word. I didn't know this was going to be on the test.
So last year, Rich's fantasy football team name was Inquisitive Gym Teacher.
Yeah,
I thought he was a gym teacher. He's not.
Maybe he was until this year. He's teaching biology.
Yeah.
All right, Jack. All right, so you were saying I won.
Yeah. I was saying 26 Rich, 27 Matt Mason. Matt Mason coming in, picking up a silver medal in his debut. Bronze goes to Bracken with 32 points, and I stuck up the place 36. Just an embarrassing show. Overall,
too many corners.
I guess so. Overall in the season, Rich first place 9-5, 7-7 for me in second, and 5-9 for Bracken, picking up a win this week.
If we count this OCR race as part of the results, I should get 3 wins from
I haven't even scored it, so we'll see.
If we're going ifs, every time we've done a draft where someone's like, this doesn't actually count,
this one counts.
Clean house.
Croatia counts. Absolutely counts.
What was it? Seattle like clean house? Didn't count it.
Did that not count?
Seattle?
Did we draft?
I
Which
won.
We've had 2 drafts you haven't
Seattle,
counted. You each had one where you're like, this doesn't count.
We didn't count either of the Hyrox events, which I cleaned up on
because Lauren drafted for me.
We didn't count OCR. OCR.
Bracken won that one. Rich wasn't here. Same deal. I won the 3K, and I got second in the. I went 3-1 on the weekend, as did Bracken. I think Chris won 1 and.
Chris was a bagel.
Yeah, she didn't do well.
Oh, hey, it's not like that. Just goes to show what we're doing here is not just like luck and chance. Okay, we're the real deal. We know what's up. I would not have gotten 0 wins out of that, Chris. Okay.
And Lauren.
Rich is in first place. Put some respect on the name.
Never.
All right, let's move in the Spartan race so that we're not here all day. They had the sprint and 100-meter world championship. The clips up. They had Matt Davis over there in Croatia. The 100 looked kind of fun. Not OCR, but it did look kind of fun.
I have a question. Why are the 100-meter results not on the sprint and 100-meter result page on Spartan.com?
Oh, because all you have to do is go to myraceresult.com and click on a tiny little info bubble on the top left and then type in Havar and then click on the right event for that and then click on the right heat because they have multiple events listed for it. It's a simple process.
Spartan race results.
Yeah.
World Championship sprint and 100-meter dash, click, only has the sprint.
Yeah.
I had to go to Obstacle Racing Media of all places to find a picture of the top 3 people.
But they gave out 20,000 to the winner, so why would you want to let anyone know?
Because they're growing the sport.
Growing the sport. But we're here to talk about
real quick on that topic. How mad would you be if you won the sprint and you got half the money that the 100-meter person got this past weekend when you have been a representative of what Spartan has been for the past 15 years?
Well, let's look at this really fast. What was the name of the man who won the 100?
I don't know.
Poland.
Huh?
Poland and Russia, I believe, was the podium on the men's side.
You giving me the country?
Bracken would know better.
Yeah.
The name. What and the name
They're
of the
not
woman
OCR
too.
people. I don't know.
They're
ninjas. Now,
ninjas who have much bigger followings.
Yeah. Now, I will never be upset that they make more money because I am for every athlete pursuing their dream to be able to do that thing. Like, if I can't make it, I hope you can make it. Yeah. That's me as a mature athlete now, or a retired athlete. Any athlete that can make money and you get your check, fantastic. Is it also a giant deep paper cut that Spartan's sprinkling lemon juice over? The fact that Ryan Atkins took like 16 months to get his world championship, $8,000 or 12, and they paid 20,000 to a ninja pretty quick. Yeah, that sucks.
It's
but
stupid.
You do not begrudge the athlete.
No. But my point is, if you're going to pay, I think standard Spartans should have had the higher amount if they were going to be differing amounts. That's what I don't like.
Yes. And I just can't yet figure out what the end game is. Like, what's the agenda that they're throwing this at the 100?
It's like influencer marketing. They got big names at these 100s. I'm looking at Stein LeGrand. Stein LeGrand, 1,900 Instagram followers, right? He's a world champion.
Mm-hmm.
How many people are learning about the sport because of him? Probably not many. But you look at Jessie Graff or whatever. Was that her name? Jessie Graff?
Yeah, Jessie Graff.
How many followers do you think she has?
You don't think she would have shown up for 10,000 or 20,000? I think most of these people are showing up for 10,000 because that's more than offered anywhere.
Haven't we disproven that followers turn into consumers of the product they're following adjacently? Hasn't that been disproven?
What are their ninja? So. What are ninja followers? Most of them are probably going to be doing ninja. You think they're going to go and do a 5K or a beast because they found out about a 100 course that's very limited and only happened once?
I just don't understand the agenda.
You're right, but they're looking at it from like a numbers perspective.
I get
right?
it.
They're like, we're all correct here. It's silly that a race that's an endurance race for grit and the whole deal, big long swim,
have more followers than Lance Armstrong
in the world
that's ever done a Spartan race. Lance Armstrong and Randy Moss. Anyone ever top those? Did they see an influx after them?
Tyreek Hill,
maybe.
Tyreek Hill added to the people not able to do Spartan race for the next 9 months.
Like 6 people to that list.
Like half the festival ground was pregnant, and they couldn't come back and do Spartan races for a year.
And Rich, to add on, Yuri Prokudin, he has 20.7 thousand followers. He won on the men's side, and then on the women's side, you had Tiana Weberly, who has 45,100.
So 20x, 10x. 20X.
She's a stunt woman.
Second place on the women's side has 595, though. Second place on the men's side has 1537, and third 521. So is that really making a difference?
Like, but I'm just saying that's what they're thinking. That's why this happened. They tried the OCR stuff.
It's an ass backwards sport.
Yes.
We're going to build a sport that the athlete with the biggest existing following can win, rather than we are going to create the best athlete and then the sport's so cool and we're so good at what we do that they will create a large following.
Ryan Atkins, 53,000, more than either of those. Nicole Miracle, 23,000, more than the male winner. Like, you already have athletes like this in your own sport.
But of those 53,000, a high percentage are probably going to come out and do a Spartan race.
Anyway, yeah.
No, maybe not anyway, but they're more of a
already
fertile
have.
ground than.
Yeah.
They probably have those people already captured. They have that following because of Spartan race.
Right.
These are not new people.
But they could turn them away by getting rid of Atkins.
I doubt it.
Getting rid of. I think that's
they got rid of Atkins. He's gone.
Get him out.
They got rid of him.
He's out of here. He's in Hyrox now.
When was the last World Championship he did not attend?
He was in Did he do last year?
Didn't attend. He didn't do OCR Worlds this year.
No,
But like
Spartan race. When was the last time Spartan affiliated World Championship?
He's done every one of them since 2014.
Yeah.
And now he didn't. Why? They got rid of him.
He's out.
He's out.
They don't care.
Nope.
Yeah.
They don't care about the athletes. They haven't for a while now. And, this is what we get. We get payouts to people that aren't doing the actual race that they are associated with. That's just where we are. Next year, they might not pay out at all. They're pretty close to not paying out now. They might just have championships and just not pay. That's like the next step. Like, it's not going to get better.
Yeah. So the positive. What a race.
I would want to do this venue.
What a battle.
Yeah. So on the men's side, Steen Legrand takes the win over Gregory Basilico, 39-48 to 40-03. Frank Oosterom was in third. My guy, Richard Heineck, wasn't going to race, did race, I guess. I don't know. Again, then ended up in fourth. Peter Saniga was in fifth. Yesterday, Harris sixth. Any other notables here? No, we'll just go David Lebros, seventh. Manuel Defoe, Peter Donak. And then I'm starting to get into names that I've never heard before, so I don't know how to pronounce them. And that's where we will finish it up on the men's side.
Go scroll down. Find the top American.
It didn't go chalk, I'll tell you that.
No, it didn't.
Other than Sean Roberts not.
Did he show up? Did he race?
Up in the results?
Scroll down.
Sam Osborne, first American, finishing in 30th. Holler.
How wild.
Sean was 34th.
Yeah. Wow. And look at Leon and Sean
was way down.
Sam Osborne, who just took 1-2. It's like you have completely different types of races. Manuel Defoe didn't end up on the
yes, they're different races, but there's also different athletes at this.
For sure.
Race.
Yeah.
And did Sean run into a technical officiating issue, or what? Do we know what happened? Because my comment was not that he shouldn't have done well. My comment was, I assume he ran into some Spartan issue, and that's why he's down so far. Do we know what happened?
No idea.
Because I picked him to go top 5.
And then on the women's side, Nicole Miracle has a big win over Zuzana Kokomova. Then Clara
Lukajikova.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sarah Beckstrom was in 4th. Elsa Ripstja was in 5th. And then other notable names, Esther Hortapagiova was 7th. And any other names here that are worth really mentioning? They're all worth mentioning. That I'm just saying who we would be familiar with. No. That's where we'll wrap that up.
Can we believe? Oh, go ahead.
I'm scoring. No. You guys talk.
Go ahead. What do you got?
Can we believe that Susanna and Nicole Miracle were on the final rig at the same time?
Yeah.
I mean, a clash of goats. Did we have Susanna being able to keep her in? Yeah, there were some things on course that caused this to happen, but Susanna keeping her in range to be on the final rig together is astounding.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole did miss a spear. That's worth saying.
Oh, wow.
But it doesn't.
Burpees.
She had a penalty loop with a bucket, which was a really cool penalty loop, honestly. The whole course was just stunning, my opinion. Like the venue, I don't know, that they utilized everything in that old town. But yeah, that you had basically a 2-time Spartan world champion in Zuzana, and somehow only a 1-time, or now a 2-time after the race, Spartan race world champion in Nicole, going head to head. 2 of the Mount Rushmore of the women's side of the sport. It was so exciting.
Just unreal. Nicole just won by so much at OCR Worlds that Susanna being here, I don't care if there's a penalty loop. Susanna being within a penalty loop range of her is so cool.
She's fit, man. Susanna,
she's like fit. Fedor Emelianenko. She spent her greatest years over in Europe with people knowing that she's never getting beat, but not really knowing what it meant. And we're seeing her at the end of her career or end of her youthful career, still taking it to the best. It's crazy.
All right, so we got OCR, so we got to update our rankings. We ready?
Are you going to talk about Bracken? We saw Basilico like for a good amount of this course. Is he the fastest guy you've ever seen? Like truly?
Now again, I didn't get to watch this because I
thought you did
things to buffer. I caught glimpse for Hyrox. I saw the run into burpee broad jump into out, and then I couldn't get it to buffer anymore.
Okay.
And Spartan, I didn't get to see anything other than highlight clips.
Okay.
But you tell me, what do we see?
Oh, so basically it was Stein. Yessa Hair took the lead pretty early on, maybe like 15 minutes. He still had the lead. Stein Legrand, he made a move at spear throw, I want to say, and he created 5-10 seconds of separation right there. And then Basilico just turned on the jets and Stein Legrand ran a 31 flat for a 5K earlier this year, and Basilico just walked him down. And then the two of them were they basically were swimming. Well, I'm not even going to call it swimming. That's a different issue, but they were in the water together. They got out of that cargo net and essentially touched the rig at the same exact time. And then Stein's just a better obstacler at that point, and he took home the win. But it was a fantastic 1-2 battle. And then the third place battle. Did you see what happened to Richard Heineck?
Nope.
So he and Frank was a former high-level water polo player. So that's why he just like destroyed the swim. And he got out of the water in 4th. They went through a rig together. Heineck got through it like a couple seconds ahead, and then they got on Stairway to Sparta, which is made of wood. Heineck fell, and he literally broke one of the wood ladder pieces in like on the backside of it, like truly split the wood because of the impact. It was so bad. And I checked with him. He said he's okay at this point, but Frank ended up passing him as a result of that. But that was one of the hardest falls I've ever seen. He literally broke an obstacle, but that was the difference between 3rd and 4th. And Heineck got up and sprinted, and then he just got outkicked by like 1/10 of a second. It was so good.
I'll have to check that out. All right, Jack, you got the scores?
I'm adding it up, but you keep going.
Let's pull up our Power 11. That's what we get. That's what we have to do here. See what kind of adjustments we need to make. I mean, Stein is on top. He stays there.
Yep.
Steen. Do we move Gregory to 2nd then?
He's gotta.
Yessa was in this race. How far does Yessa fall? Like, does Frank jump? Does he jump to 3rd?
I think if we're looking at like the time gap that the two of them had, and Yessa's season as a whole being a world champion, so Yessa was 43.15, so he's about 59 seconds behind Frank, and he's beaten him head to head virtually every other race this year. I know it's recency bias, but I don't think that you can put Frank ahead of him.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
And Hawk and Balin stay too. Does Frank, like, it's hard to jump? It's hard to say, hard to project this. I mean, dude was a swimmer, but like
wins versus podium. That's, the argument there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy with this.
Yeah. How about on the bottom? Is anyone else in the results?
Eugenio, after winning OCR Worlds 15K in dominating fashion, better be on this list.
Yeah.
Better be.
Should be. Why not?
OCR Worlds still matters.
Was OCR Worlds better than
if Rylan getting 3rd at Seattle and Brendan Neely getting 2nd?
I was just going to say, does that race, OCR World Championships, was that better than Seattle?
Better, no. But even if it's on par, 1st place, 3rd place.
I don't know. I'm going to be resistant. I think that OCR World Championship race is just the prestige is it's of a regional. It's
It
of a
is.
regional race.
It is, but he won by a lot, and Ryland did.
All right, I'll put Henny on 11th. We bumping Ryland?
That's my vote.
Okay.
I think a 10th place winning OCR Worlds has to be above Brandon, in my opinion. But
Okay,
Sure.
So okay.
Either way, Ryland's off, and it's okay because he's going to land on the Hyrox list.
Right. Is it Godinez Romero?
Godinez Romero, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We'll add him. And then what do we think? I'm gonna update this later. So we're gonna have here. Probably not spelled right. Sure, it's not, but we'll spell check it later. So we're all set here.
It's fine with me, yeah.
All right. On the women's side, there will certainly need to be some shifting on here. With Elricky being on top, we haven't seen her race in a couple big races. Why did she pull out here? Is she injured?
Yeah. So that stunk that she wasn't able to.
What race did she? Was it FISA where she did so well?
Yeah, she got.
That was what kind of put her on top of this list.
She did Morzine and then FISO afterwards, and it was like, well, she's got the short, medium, and long distance. Like, how can she be number one at the moment?
And then pull out of Euros, and now this.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, she was
Go ahead.
I think we all started talking.
Yeah.
You're the host.
So what do we do?
Take her.
Do we move Nicole to the top?
I would.
So. Yeah.
Kind of have to, right? Even though, again, OCR World Championships, I don't think factors into this decision.
Call it a regional.
Maybe. She won by like 14 minutes. That's insane.
It can't hurt her, though.
Right? It can't hurt her, but I don't think it could be like, oh, because she won OCR World Championships, she gets like a nudge. I don't think it should factor in almost at all. Are we moving?
I think Zuzana won European champs, and she was leading until the final obstacle at Spartan World. I know she missed it, but she did get second there. Ulrika hasn't raced, the past two. I think you should.
3 through 5, anywhere in there, I'm okay with.
3 through 5. Okay, so absolutely
Sorry,
no
2 through 4. I'm okay with anywhere in there. That's what I meant.
It's hard to dock Alyssa on this, but she didn't race.
Power means recent.
She would have liked to, I'm sure.
But. Yes, exactly. On the female side, what else? Anyone else here?
I think you've got to get third place, Clara Lakajikova.
Clara?
Yeah. So we've got Beatrice, who has multiple second places at OCR Worlds and FISO. She can't be ahead of her. Andrea got second at European. Lauren got second at European. Esther just lost to Clara, so Clara has to be at worst 8, I would say.
8?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Sarah might have to move as well. Sandy's going to drop.
Sarah also was 4th place, and she's had a pretty solid season overall.
So she needs to be right behind there, right?
Yeah, and Helena was like 11th, so I think she's got to go if we're gonna move Sarah up.
I think Sarah goes to 10. Helena.
Well, no,
she's got to be in front of Esther.
Beat Esther.
She's got to be in front of Esther.
Okay.
And then Helena's out. We keeping Sandy
or
in
is
here?
Sandy out?
Sandy hasn't done much for a while. Like now you've got another. Yeah, Elsa has a strong argument. Signe got 4th, and 9th. Is that good enough?
Like, does Esther need to be like on this list?
Yeah.
Are we just doing because of the name?
She got 3rd. She's higher than Helena. She's beat her head to head most recently. She did get 3rd at Europeans and 6th at a World Championship. I feel like that deserves a spot in the top 11, given where the state of OCR is at the moment. You don't have enough Americans that are racing that you'd think would kick them out.
All right.
It is crazy. It does seem strange putting Esther at 10th. Like
power rankings.
She hasn't performed. She truly hasn't.
It'll be like Hunter right now in Hyrox. It's like, what have you done for me lately?
Number 1.
We feel good about this?
That's where it's at.
All right.
Yeah.
Power
be
11.
updated.
Power 11
Yeah.
speaks.
Lauren Weeks is still 7th.
Can't take her away from her.
She
She's in this
she
race.
won Utah, and she got second at North Americans. So yeah,
What's our window?
12
what
weeks?
was it?
12
Yeah,
weeks?
she's good.
12
Is
She's
Utah
in.
out? Is Utah out?
July. Now I think she
Close.
that won't count
Close.
next time. So
Okay.
Yeah, she'll be 7th, and then she'll be out. But
Which
just,
makes her the greatest all-around athlete in our sphere, since she'll be
on both lists.
1 probably right now
Mhm.
and 7.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It would have been Rylan. He could have been up there too. His aggregate could have been like 4, 5, but he's off this one now.
Yep. All right. So I do have scores.
Okay.
Bracken, who ended up picking Nicole, Gregory Basilico, and Esther, Manuel Defoe, Sean Roberts, just murderer's row right there. He ends up finishing last.
That's why you got to
39
play the
points.
game.
39 points. Getting destroyed in an international competition, Bracken.
Taking any win
that.
out of this, salvaging a single win is huge for me. BK,
Yep.
you should be ashamed. My number 1 pick didn't race. I had
Your
like
number 2 pick, your
my
number
2
3 pick.
3. My
Igor
4
didn't
pick
show up.
was
All I can say is that we no longer have a pulse on what makes you good at Spartan Race.
long swim. Jack
Yeah,
was screaming
long
it.
swim. Well, now, Rich, how do you think you did? Do you think you beat me or not?
It's close, man.
You're
When I
too
was
smug.
looking at side by side, I was like, I might have a shot here.
Might have a shot. Yeah, right. Rich did have like 4, 4, 5, 5, but you didn't have anybody else in the top 14. If you had one extra guy, that might have made the difference right there. Pavel getting 14th, Federica getting 15th. Federica with just an E, no RE at the beginning.
Matt loves to be a stickler if anyone makes a mistake.
I know. And
Man
he
whose
can't
job is inaccuracy.
Yeah.
He's made a living off of it.
Yeah.
Just like posting things.
Remember that time 4 years ago when
whim.
you said someone's name wrong?
Do you see Matt pretending he was French? Like at the end, he said like merci or something to Basilico after his interview. I'm like, oh yeah, you don't even know what that word means. But anyway, Rich, 4th for Heineck, 4th for Sarah, 5th for Elsa, 5th for Peter. So you had some good replacements there, Elsa and Peter Taniga, but you ended up with 32 points.
Better
And
than Bracken.
I got 21. I took a risk on Stein ahead of Gregory. I probably should have picked Gregory as one of those back-to-back picks right there, but having Zuzana, Frank, Yessa, Signy, that was
My entire team didn't show up, Jack. I don't care that you beat me. I don't. You're over here like patting yourself on the back. My literally number 1, 2, and 3 pick.
I'm giving you your
This shouldn't count at all.
It absolutely counts.
Guys, stop complaining.
This counts.
Stop complaining. That'll wrap us up.
On the season, Rich, you are 10-6. I am 9-7. Bracken is 5-11. You got some work to do, buddy.
Maybe
Tactical
eating
gear
pickles.
there.
Yep.
Maybe eating pickles.
USAOCR had a race as well. Check that out on YouTube. It's actually very clear, nice footage overall.
It was really well covered. Where would you rank the depth of field compared to a OCR Worlds, a Spartan, a Savage,
There's been Savage races,
It was a Savage.
like a not that great Savage, right?
It
Like
didn't
a
have
Savage,
Sean.
like-
It didn't have
like
McDougal.
like a non-series Savage race, like a local Savage.
this was
Right?
a Conquer the Gauntlet field?
No, it was better than that. Like
No.
Kevin
Sorry, I said the wrong word. Grit. This was Grit OCR.
What, Grit Games?
Grit Games.
Grit Games is
Oh.
better than that.
Yeah.
On the men's side?
On the,
So I
like Kevin
VJ Kent went last year. Newbie, Austin, Azar.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Kevin Thompson has been the best performer at FISO for Team USA in the past, and he won the 3K. So like he's no one to joke about. And then Kean O'Boyle, he's a new name. He's on the modern pentathlon, but he can obstacle and run. He's going to be pretty solid.
The
Jeff
running
Shady.
looked fast.
Huh?
The running looked fast.
Yeah, definitely.
What's the OCR in Alabama where they give away like the swords and the helmets? It's a barbarian or something like that. This is like a barbarian challenge.
That's over in Europe.
Do you guys watch this?
I watched probably about an hour and then I had to go to bed.
This is the thing I watched the most of.
Yeah.
Rich Ryan.
It was really
if
clear.
I told you we set up a well-covered national championship / team selection race and gave 2 lanes per obstacle, what would you tell me?
2 lanes.
2 lanes per
obstacle.
rig, per technical obstacle, 2 lanes.
Like
what would you say about that decision?
You get wait. So you could only 2 people could go at a time, or there was like a fast lane and slow lane?
No, there are only 2 people could fit on any hanging obstacle at a time.
Was it the 100? If it was a 100-meter head-to-head, then it makes sense. For a 3K race, I would not be surprised.
3rd place got to a rig that required you to grab an axe and make it through. And had to sit here and watch, and they arrived a stride behind 2nd. Great coverage, very fast-looking running. I was truly impressed with the athletes running.
Yep.
And I cannot for the life of me understand why they made 2-lane wide obstacles.
Hey, it's a new wrinkle. It's a new little wrinkle.
3 is the bare minimum because that's a podium.
Yeah.
Ooh, I would have been very frustrated on course.
You guys had 2 lanes, and when you guys went head-to-head in whatever it was, where
OCR Warrior, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was 1 per person. Jeff, were you as frustrated for the athletes as I was watching them get to the first rig?
When I watched that, I was like, that you shouldn't have to wait to get through it. That's for later in the day when like you're not going for a high performance.
Great course.
Or you just
that was a very good course, honestly.
Yeah.
If it's 3K, just time trial it.
Great terrain selection, really good location of everything. Probably the best OCR coverage I've watched all year.
Good job.
Mind-meltingly foolish lane choice for the rigs. Complaining.
Yeah.
Y'all complain too much.
Band system, it seemed like most athletes lost at least one. They did penalty loop right at the end. Yeah.
I'm out on the band system.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not good?
Just mandatory completion.
For example, you grab this battle axe and you have to use it to get through the rig.
You can't just tuck it in your legs or anything.
This could take you 10 seconds. It could take you 60 seconds. Bands cut, move on. It allows tap and go.
You can skip it.
Yeah, you can skip it. And you do the same penalty loop at the end, no matter what the obstacle cost you, no matter. And it makes for bad TV. I decided I'm out on the band system. I can't. I've tried because everyone keeps telling me band system's great. It makes for exciting OCR. I think, to use a Rich Ryan, I think it stinks.
It stinks. Goofy.
Yeah.
Yep. You had Rachel Waters take home the win in the 3K, Courtney Washington in 2nd, and Chris Swafford in 3rd. So I'd say
I think a regional savage is fair.
Yeah.
But Rachel doesn't win she wins regional savages. She doesn't win series savages.
Yeah. But honestly, like, we're not just saying it. Like, I truly thought it was very good coverage. If you want to watch very clear video the whole time and a lot of tight battles, especially on the last rigs, it was worth watching. 15K was very good.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. What do we got this weekend? Anything coming up? Week off?
I think a week off.
Regional.
Next big race is Trifecta Worlds in Greece. That's
When's
probably 3 weeks, I'd say. First weekend.
I'm getting excited.
November.
You're in.
I am out on bands. I think
in on Trifecta.
Trifecta is just the way to go.
Trifecta is fun.
Yeah.
That is fun. Hopefully we'll see. Are we going to see the Basilicos and the Hyrox out there?
Angel's going from Mexico.
Nice.
Basilico. He said on the race covers that he wants to actually win a title in Abu Dhabi, so we know he'll be there. Hawk Call, have been talking with him. He is heavily considering going over to Abu Dhabi.
Nice. Richard Hynek is either 100% healthy, may or may not go, or might be in the ER.
Abu Dhabi World Champs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought it was Trifecta. When is that? December again?
I think it's actually like right at the November 30th or something. But last week in November.
What distance is it going to be?
beast only. No 3K this year.
Do we have a
we're
super world championship? Have we?
not this year.
Never. 1 year.
We did.
1 year.
Yeah, that was the 2022.
I know.
So Abu Dhabi, we've had Beast, 3K, or Beast Super,
2 years then.
3K, and Beast again. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, we did have a super that time. All right,
Yeah.
so
2011 and 2022.
that was the Sergey year.
Every 11 years, rain or shine, super championship.
Is Spartan going to amend their website to say World Championship at the Super in Abu Dhabi? And Jack's gonna be like, I don't know, guys. It's pretty good. He's counting the power. Power.
It depends who wins.
Does depend who wins.
If a Mount Rushmore person wins, it's a legit
Jack's
race.
gonna be like, damn, another world champion. What do we? What was our number we had? 11, 9 world champions per year. Yeah, 9 per year. I think that was, and I think it was 9. Wasn't
Not including the 100. So that's
10
11.
with the 10 with the 100.
Don't forget about FISO.
FISO.
FISO has one. So 11.
Oh, they do. What's the 80 and the
Don't
60?
forget European OCR. Yeah.
80
Yeah,
and
what
40?
happened to the 40s and stuff? The 60s?
It's down the
Where
road.
was that supposed to be?
That didn't
Serious
happen?
question.
I
don't know.
don't.
I thought
it
it
was
was
just
FISO.
on the website, and we were like,
Or
"What?"
was that a different organization? It's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep track.
Very
All right,
straightforward.
we're wrapping this thing up. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you take a look at Race Brain. Hyrox Show will be available on Thursday. BK, what we got going on over at TRP?
Q&A.
Oh, I should have guessed. Q&A. Maybe we'll run a little Q&A happening as well. All right, that's it.
Listen to Matt
should-
Mason on Thursday.
Should answer each other's Q&As. We'll swap Q&A questions.
This is an idea that I like. I think we can a little cross promotion, little synergy. I like it. All right, we're leaving. See ya.